right, peace and blessings. It's July the 6th, the year 2018. We did a 1 hour and 30-minute interview with Dennis Morgan Hicks on Alabama death row. He has been convicted of killing Joshua Duncan. He maintains his innocence. From my understanding of the case, they have a 3-year-old toddler. They have a dog, a cadaver dog that sat down at a certain spot. And they have a jailhouse informant that said he gave a confession, but the jailhouse informant was rewarded, with time off his sentence, I guess. At least that's my understanding. But in addition to the hour-and-a-half interview that we did tonight, I got a letter from him that arrived today, and it's a very long letter. I will scan it. I may not have it up for a few days, but I'll put it on his Dropbox. If you want to go to Dennis Morgan Hicks Dropbox, go to yearofjubilee.com, go to list of other prisoners. Everything is in alphabetical order for the last name. When you get to Dennis Morgan Hicks, there'll be a link for his Dropbox. So all of his important letters and papers that I know about will be there, including this letter that I'm about to read now. So if you don't like my reading, it's going to be a long read. It's like 12 pages, so it's going to take me a long time to get through this, but since I got to read it anyway, I might as well read it into a recorder and put it up on YouTube. He wrote it on July the 1st, so he wrote it 5 days ago. So here we go. Oh, sorry, hold on. Oh, gosh. All right. Hello, Miss Aaron and Mr. Rudy. July is here. It is hot in these cells. Still, I can imagine swimming in some cool water. Woo. Hope and pray all is well and good with you both. Best wishes for a safe, healthy, and happy 4th of July. We're much to celebrate. God Almighty is truly good to us all. I received a money receipt today from bookkeeping. They credit $25 to my account from you. Thank you very much for this wonderful gift. It shall go far, as money in here is like 10 times the value out there. I'll be able to get hygiene items and writing supplies. Truly does help with the overhead. Thank you. I hope to be able to call you this coming Friday or Saturday. Depend on if the phone is working and how long the line is. If it is 30 to a phone, I'll aim for morning about 10 a.m., kind of quiet here. The time zone is different, so I'll go for 11 a.m. If not Friday, then Saturday. I hope the mother photo reached you and that you have received my letters. I realize some won't entertain the notion that a lieutenant on the sheriff department would be so misguided to deliberately set someone up to go to prison. But Lieutenant Andrew Peake did. His bias and prejudice toward me, after he found out I was released from prison, actually blinded him so bad. He misused his appointment of the case for personal gain and rigged it so bad that I am on death row due to his lies. He selected who he thought he could get away. He selected who he thought he could get away with his lies. He got his promotion, pay raise, and lots of awards for so-called solving a homicide and putting me away. But the absolute truth is, Chance Norris, the toddler who told him everything, was 3 at the time he talked to him. And when the crime supposedly happened, 2.5. The fact that he believed the child was immobile does not make it so. And in this case, all the adults in the child's life dispute his lies, even though both parents was in prison. The mother call him from Chicago was informed to both that the grandmother's illness and poverty could not handle all 3 kids. She informed both that Chance was moving to Chicago until they got out. This was June of 2011. The other grandmother from Chicago came by bus and picked him up, transferred him back with her. The alleged killing, Lieutenant Peake claimed, happened at his grandmother's house, who 30 to 40 plus years ago. Let me read that again. Transferred him back with her. The alleged killing, Lieutenant Peake claimed, at his grandmother's house. I guess that's Chance's grandmother's house. Who 30 to 40 years ago. My dad was married to her mom. Dad died in 1981. Was married to her in the 70s. Regina Norris was the legal guardian and had full custody of all children of Jason, her son, and his wife Tiffany Norris. They did divorce, but at the time, both was incarcerated. She passed on custody guardianship to the other grandmother. Fax a document so she could receive a medical bill pay for something. I'd had to move treatment. Oh, for he had to move treatment several times in the 6 months he lived in Chicago. Dozens of people on both ends could and can testify that he lived there. From photographs, medical records, affidavits. Had somebody to gather up if I had somebody to gather up statements on both ends. Well, Lieutenant Peake made up the story, feed it to the child, after dozens of sweets, toys, bribes for the toddler, agreed to repeat what he told him to say. Then the police went to all the officials, like child care experts, informed them that the child supposedly witnessed a brutal killing, which he didn't say supposedly. He went around falsely claiming it gospel, told the coroner who changed the time and the date and the location of the body. No forensic evidence supported the claim at the grandmother's house other than the cop trick a dog to sit down where they claimed the killing happened, and pointed out a tree that had axe mark that was 10 to 12 to 15 plus years old. But where the body was actually discovered, plenty of DNA evidence existed. Only clothes, hair, etc. did not match me at all. None of it. So the cop and DA asked the jury to disregard the direct evidence and go with their manufactured evidence, which now that they know the child was not in Mobile, they circle the wagon covering for the cop. He went to the sheriff, to the DA, and then to the grand jury. Out of his mouth stated Chance Norris informed him of the killing, how the body was cut up, hung on a tree, and taken parts away in my vehicle. Now that the real, absolute truth that Chance Norris was not even in the county or even in the whole state of Alabama, that he was only about 2.5 years old. Something and feed the lies. Coach and feed the lies by the lieutenant. They all trying to put a front on that I was in prison, that I am a monster, that I deceive, that I deserve death from what I've done before. Well, God's going to bring people into my life. They will help exonerate me. Volunteers on both locations, Chicago and Mobile. The lies they told the jury won't stand very much longer. Amen. Please call my appeal attorney, Miss Rachel Judge, for full disclosure and details of all the proper names and places, like the grandmother name in Chicago. I think that's something Michelle McComb or something. First is Michelle, but I don't know her. Never talked to her in my life. Saw her in court one time. That is it. Her church address, hospital, etc. I don't know. I can provide my whereabouts and all the people who knew where I was, which the DA/cop theory was Monday night, September the 5th, 2011, between 7 and 11 p.m. Joshua Duncan and I was in a fight. Never happened. He was 23 years old. I was 53. I'll be 60 in 2 weeks. Done almost 7 years here because of the Lieutenant Peake's lies. He is the worst than the lieutenant in the O.J. Simpson trial. And Lieutenant Mark Ferguson went to prison for lying on O.J. The Mobile Lieutenant Peake got promoted, pay raise, awards. The DA office and Sheriff Department celebrated, drinking and such, at sending me to death row. They are sick. Some of them abuse their position for crooked means. I do deeply appreciate your willingness to help. Miss Judge number is 334-269-1803. My pending appeal should come through this year. Anytime now. They are going to reverse their corrupt verdict, and the real truth shall come out in my next trial. My innocence is clear to that truth. They completely made up the killing. All the facts are false, and they manufactured date, time, place, and witnesses. None of it is true at all. I am 100% innocent. Some realize it now, but refuse to step up, who want to lose their job for telling the truth. Who am I to something body? I can't read that word. Who am I to anybody? District attorney claim I am filthy scum, a horrible monster that society something to kill, that society's duty to kill. The doctor she got to falsify her report to the jury, been arrested 4 times for drugs since he lied to the jury, lost his doctor's license and facing prison time. Last I heard, he was on rehab trying to get the judge to probate him instead of prison. Still, he lied big time at trial against me. The results was untrue. He made them for the DA, claiming I was a sociopath, treated people like objects, that I had no feelings. I love people, I love God, and he flat out lied. It is time for mail pickup, so I'll close for now. Hope to talk to you end of this week. God bless. Happy 4th of July. Peace. Later on, Dennis. Okay, page 7. P.S. Mr. Rudy, it is early, about 3 a.m. I was pill call for guys who take medicine, not mail pickup. So want to explain some of the reasons why I think the jury found me guilty when I am not. For starters, like I mentioned, the Lieutenant Peake went around lying to lots of officials. Some bought it hook, line, and sinker. He showcased, window dressed it all up with my prior prison and case from 1979. So I can understand why some of the decent good personnel in both departments accepted and helped to convict me. Still can't go by appearance or the theory people make up, not without factual proof that support and substantiate absolute truth. And he wasn't able to manufacture his lies that well. Sure, plenty of people wanted to believe him, so they did. But our body with an open mind and an honest heart for the truth, but anybody with an open mind and honest heart for the truth will not when they learn the facts. And it is factual that Chance Morris was not in Mobile, Alabama during the June of 2011 until late November of 2011. So how could a toddler be taken to a location and him point out a tree and a living dining room spot and say this is the exact location the killing happened? He was a baby, just a mere toddler. The lieutenant coached him and feed him lies. It is a miracle that he did not put any of Joshua blood at the grandmother's house. Guess he could not get any. But he did set up false evidence. Put a knife on my bedroom headboard and out of my bedroom headboard of my bed. He changed my mother Holy Bible off my front sit. I think the word is changed, but I can't read the word. He changed my mother Holy Bible off my front sit and took a tool knife out of my toolbox, took photos of the knife on my front car seat. And Mr. Rudy, I've had hundreds of people to ride in my vehicle and seen the Bible, and to just have a knife either on my bed or on my car seat could cause me to lose liberty, freedom, go back to a 2-life sentence in prison. That alone would be enough to violate my parole, for which I had a petition hearing for a pardon coming up in 4 months. A something I had been working toward for over 30 plus years. A goal I had been working toward for over 30 plus years. Make no sense whatsoever. I don't keep a knife in here. I had 3 set of dishes out in society. My own, my mother, and my grandmother's. I'll be 60 soon. In all of my life, I never stabbed nobody. I was wrote up once in prison and found not guilty. The sergeant testified I did not stab him, that he cut himself. But my point is, I don't need or use knives for weapons. Lieutenant just framed me like with the jailhouse liar. After hundreds of officials over 4.5 years in jail, thousands of letters, phone calls, visits, never once did I ever claim or state nothing but innocent to the judge in personal talks, to all the police, family, friends, neighbors, church members. Yet this one 5-time loser who testified 4 times to get a reduced sentence comes to my trial and says he talked to me 1 time and I told him I did it is totally untrue. Complete lie. Instead of the mandatory life sentence for 122 hits of dope and $97,000 in cash, he got 30 months for lying for the police on me. He was supposed to be in the same wedge at jail. Talked to me, got out, and on bond while out, got more drug charges, got back in jail, and when the new DA, Jennifer Wright, got appointed DA over my case, the other one got promoted to a judge, and Miss sent 2 dozen to death row. In almost 20 years, never not one death row conviction has she not used snitches. I think he's talking about jailhouse informant snitches. They seek out, or they peek, I can't read the word. They something out somebody. Tell them what they want to hear, and the person goes back into the jail regardless if the accused admitted or not. They return and tell them yes. Tell them what they want to hear. If they will repeat it on the stand, it is their get out of jail free ticket. Many are so far gone on dope and such lost people that district attorney police knows they'll pick them up again. But because it works for them to have somebody lie to the jury conviction to justify the smaller lies, they already convince not the person quality. So they already convinced that the person guilty. So they help it along. They don't see it as corruption. They see it as fixing problems, helping society. So what if they bend a few rules? They still consider themselves good officials, whatever means justify their end. With my case, they ask people to lie. Lieutenant Peake went to dozens of something, our family members, neighbors, friends, claiming I was killing people in secret, that he knew I killed Joshua, claiming I killed my brother-in-law, who wasn't killed but had a heart attack, died of natural causes. Still, he character assassinated me so bad. Then the judge and DA climb on board, and they hoodwink the jury into believing a lie. They spent over $1 million. Few thousand the judge gave my defense went into the appointed lawyer's pocket. They called no expert, promised to do over a dozen, called less than 10% of all those lined up waiting to be called into the courtroom. They outside subpoena to be there. After trial, the lawyer dismissed them. Family members, people who had first-hand knowledge of my whereabouts, of Joshua, of the 3 children, were about the lawyer's help and work for the DA and police and the judge, and the way more than they did. I wrote up the lawyer after not coming to visit me for 9 months. My trial was by months away. They saw me a few times and claimed they was gonna prove the police a liar, that I did not have the burden of innocence on my shoulder, but that DA had guilt on them. Both said due to any pass, if I took the witness stand, I'll be found guilty. That due to my being 25 and a half years in prison, I would cause them to lose the case, that they would win it if I did not do it. When I realized they was selling me out when it come the defense turn, I wrote the judge stating the lawyer and I had a major conflict, a issue of trust, respect, and the case style, that I wanted to testify, and he refused to let me change my mind. I had said no like they ordered me to, but once I realized they did not have my best interest at heart, I tried to stop the injustice and crookedness, but failed to do so. But my lawyer did me wrong. What worst, I allow them to. I should have never allowed them to be judges, lawyers to me. I'll not ever recommend them to anybody, not even a traffic ticket. I hope to cover whatever you need me to via phone. Be nice. It was a camera recording too, but it is a start. Maybe you can put the record on the website. Some today in Chicago, Mobile, Alabama will hear it and step up to exonerate me. The verdict is so corrupt to high heaven. I can use all the help you're able to spearhead my way in gaining volunteers to rally up and gather up all the necessary evidence to show my innocence. The absolute truth support my innocence. Trust not me claiming it, but the real factual facts of the case itself. It proves I had no involvement, that no killing happened around me. Not my house, Regina House, none of it ever happened. They made it all up. Sure, they something the whole case with lots of lies. They clutter the whole case with lots of lies. But still, they can't change the real truth, the real true truth. Talk with you later on. Thanks for all your help. God bless. Sincerely, Dennis Hicks. I got to tell you, man, the more I hear him talk, and, you know, the hour and a half that I talked to him today, if all they got against him is a jailhouse informant, a jailhouse lying confession, and a toddler, and a cadaver dog that sat in a certain spot, I mean, that ain't much to send somebody to death row. And it sounds like there's lots of people that know that Chance Morris, at 2.5 years old, wasn't even in Mobile, Alabama. So if you're listening to this case and you happen to be one of those people that knows that Chance Norris was in Chicago, Illinois instead of Mobile, Alabama, I pray that you contact Dennis Hicks or his lawyer and let him know. In the meantime, I'm going to be praying to God for discernment and justice for all of these cases. Thank you for your time.